What's up? How's everybody doing? Awful. I'm sorry. Come on over here and have a seat. We're going to get started here in just a minute. We're going to play a couple games before we get started. All right. So, we're going to let you guys get situated. All right, so quick question. What's happening this weekend? D-Now. Those of you who are going and register for D-Now, it is this weekend, just a few days away. So, you should have received your schedule or the schedule and any last minute information. If you have not, you or your parents, whatever emails you used to register were the ones we sent it to. Shh, everybody listen. So if for some reason you or your parents have not gotten that, please let me know, because they'll need to send me a correct email. I already got one bounce back, but we corrected that one. So sometimes you type something wrong or put an extra period or something in there and it messes it up. So make sure that if you haven't gotten that, check your junk mail, and then we will address that if you haven't gotten it. Also, if you have registered and you haven't filled out your release form, there's a few of you that have not. Make sure that you go ahead and do that as well. The link is on that email, okay? If you're not sure if you filled it out, just fill it out again just in case. But your parents will probably remember putting in your insurance and all that stuff, so if you haven't done that. All right, also, what we're doing Friday night we will have, it's different this year, so let me kind of walk you through the weekend. We'll meet here at the church at 5:45 Friday, and we will leave at 6 o'clock, so you got about 15 minutes to get here, get checked in, and then we will leave this church parking lot at 6 o'clock and head to Eastwood, and that's where everything will be for the evening. When that's over, when we finish our last thing, which is small groups, our small groups, when we finish that, we will actually head to BG Skate, and we're going to do late night skating. So we'll do that, and then we'll come back here by midnight. You need to have a ride to pick you up at midnight here on Friday night, okay? If you want to have extra money to buy concessions at the skate arena, what do you call it, skate rink, whatever, bring that. So if you want to buy stuff or play in the arcade, that's all on you. You can bring money for that. That's not something we're going to provide. But obviously the skating and stuff is covered. Saturday morning we'll be here, and the schedule I think says 8 o'clock, and then we'll head out. Just make sure you check that schedule, maybe 7:45, but check it, and we'll leave here. So everything else other than being dropped off and picked up is going to be at Eastwood. So we'll head to Eastwood. We'll have all kinds of stuff at the church through lunch. We'll have lunch, and then after lunch, like we do in the afternoons, we have service opportunities. So you will all go to different places around the city. Middle schoolers will go someplace together, and high schoolers will be separated and go different places for that afternoon break. And then we'll have dinner, session, small groups, and then we'll come back here Saturday night, and we will do late night Sundays, ice cream Sundays, and extreme bingo. We've got over $500 worth of prizes for Extreme Bingo, so you don't want to well, you shouldn't miss it because you'll be at D now, but get excited about it. So, good prizes. I think that's it. If you have questions about D now, let me know. All right, so it is March, which means what? Women. Yeah, I learned that. Today's something like Women's Day. Is it today?
I love National Women's Day. It's
Is it
favorite day of the year.
Huh?
National Women's Day is my favorite day of the year.
Yeah, I bet it is, yeah.
I'm 61 about it.
Other than that, which is extremely important to have International Women's Day, what is also in March?
The Leprechaun Day. What's it called? Leprechaun Day.
Leprechaun Day is not an official title. St. Patrick's Day, but March Madness, I heard it. Somebody said it. That's what I was going for. A lot of things going on in March. So we are going to have a competition for the next few weeks. Middle school versus high school, March Madness, okay? So we're going to gain points every week, or lose points, depending on how good you are. And then we'll have a big prize at the end for either middle school or high school. So what I need you to do right now, real quick, you don't have to stay this way all night, but just for the games, I need our middle school students all right here in the front few rows, and high school students over on this side. Okay? Middle school over here, high school over here. In the front. Fill up the front. Come on. Come on. I don't bite. All right, so here's the deal. Here's what we're playing. A couple games. First game is called Trashketball Trivia, okay? All right. Trashketball Trivia. It'll be on the screen here in a minute. So, what this game is, what we're going to do is, obviously it's trivia, so you'll have questions that come up on the board, and you will have to send, well, if you know the answer, you'll send your representative up to grab a cup, and then you'll get a chance to answer that question. Now, you get one shot, you have to answer the question. If you get it correct, obviously your team will get 1 point. If you answer it incorrectly, your team will lose 1 point. If you get it correct, then you will select one representative, and it can't be the same person each time. You will select one representative to make a Trashketball basket shot with paper. You'll crumple up a piece of paper. You'll either stand here at the free throw line to get it in the bucket for 2 points, or you can stand all the way back here at the 3-point and shoot it. Okay? There's no penalty if you don't get that one, but you obviously don't get points unless it goes in the bucket. Make sense? Okay, we're gaining points throughout the whole thing. So you will send a representative to grab the cup in order to answer, and if you get it incorrect, you lose that point. All right, so here's our first one. Okay, first question is, who won March Madness as both a player and a coach? If you know this correct answer, it's multiple choice, so you have a pretty good chance of getting a correct answer. Nobody knows? All right. You think you got the answer? He says C, both. Correct answer is C, both. Good job. Will you keep score? High school just got a point. All right. Good job. So now you get a chance to make a shot. You got to crumple it up, either free throw or 3-point line. All right. He's going to go for 3. Oh, so close. No penalties, just no points. All right, next one. Next question. What is the lowest seed ever to win the NCAA title game? The lowest seed to ever win since they started naming seeds.
Anybody can get it?
You better hurry. Better hurry. All right. What do you say the correct answer is? Huh? He says A. The correct answer is C. You lose a point and you get a shot. All right, so high school just lost the 1 point they had. Now you crumple up a piece of paper. You can either shoot it from free throw or 3-point? You do. They have no points. Don't listen to them.
Go for 3. We're better than you. Kyrie. Don't miss. Don't miss.
Oh, that's all right. That's okay. Next question. What year was March Madness first hosted by a single state? What year is it first hosted by a single state?
1984.
The whole tournament.
Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
You can't raise your hand. You have to. All right, she thinks she's got an answer. You think it's B, 2001. Correct answer is 2021. I'm so sorry. You guys lose a point. Middle school loses a point. And then you guys get to shoot somebody up here to take a shot. All right.
Kyrie. Oh, God.
Oh, that was terrible. All right. Nobody, no points there. Next question. What was the first team with 20 Final Four appearances? First team with 20 appearances.
Yeah.
And what do you think it is? You think the Dukes. That is not correct. High school loses a point. We need somebody else to shoot. You just shot. All right. Middle school has a chance to make a little bit of a comeback.
That's a 2. Kyrie.
That's a 2 points. That's the 2 point.
Go for 3.
Yeah, you just go. You whatever you want to do. There you go. 2 points. Good job. All right, next question. Y'all might want to discuss before you send somebody up. Next question. Next question. Okay. Who is the only coach to win both an NCAA and an NBA title? The only coach to win both. Yeah. He says A, Larry Brown. Correct answer is Larry Brown. All right, 1 point to middle school. Send up a representative since you've already shot. All right, come on. This is it. Don't let them trash talk you. You shoot however you want. There you go, good shot. 2 points. Next question. What team has the most NCAA tournament appearances? Not wins, appearances. Middle school had it. He says UCLA. Correct answer is not wins. So middle school loses a point. High school is going to shoot. Ooh, a little short, a little short. All right, next one. Who is the only player to win the Final Four MVP despite not winning the national title?
Just go grab it. Yeah.
I'm not sure. We'll You may have negative. I'm not sure. Oh, middle school. Middle school says C. Correct answer is B. Middle school loses a point.
I had a feeling.
All right. See if you can get some points on the board.
Hey, just take 2. Hey, bro, give me 2.
No, you can't dunk. No dunks. Just shots.
2.
No.
Not 2, bro. 2. No, shoot. Underhand.
Yeah, 3. What are you doing?
Let's go. I'll cut your hair. 2. I'll cut your hair. Go. 2. 3. 2.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That is not a point. Next question. Which team has won the most national titles in the history of the tournament? The most in the history of the tournament. He says C, UCLA. Correct answer is UCLA. Middle school gets a point. Send somebody up to shoot. Any girl wants to. Come on. Come on. Yeah, you got it. You come on. Yeah, you come on. So middle school got that point. She's going to try for 2 more. Oh, so close. So close. Next question. What are the chances that someone could correctly pick the winner of every game in the tournament? Of every game in the tournament. All right, high school is guessing.
Hey!
What do you think it is? He's thinking A. Correct answer is A. High school gets a point. He's trying for 3 more. Okay. So close. Not really. All right, next one. Since seeding began in 79, which team has been seeded first the most?
Gonzaga.
High school's going to guess.
Watch him suck.
Emily. What? He says B, Gonzaga. It is incorrect. High school loses a point. We need somebody that hasn't shot. Come on up. Negative points. All right. She's trying for 2. Try again. Try again. Did it go in? Did it go? Just shoot it again. Oh, let's get him the point. Yeah. Middle school, 2 points. She got it anyway. Good job. Next one. Which city hosted the most championship games in the 20th century? He says Houston. Correct answer is C. High school loses another point. Anybody want to shoot? Come on up. You'll find out at the end of this round. No points. Next question. Which year saw exactly 7 players from the Final Four get drafted into the NBA? 7 this particular year. He says 2017 for high school. That's incorrect. High school loses another point. Middle school. Somebody come up and shoot. They haven't shot. Come on. Come on. Come on up. Yes, you have. I mean, you didn't do so good. Oh, so close. Next question. What was the last team to win back-to-back titles? The last team to win back-to-back. High school? No, you got it. You got to answer high school. He's going with Texas. Correct answer is Florida. High school loses another point. Somebody who has a shot. Come on up. Come on, Amaya. All right. See what you got. She's going for 2. And it's not good. I'm so sorry. 2 more questions. 2 more questions. How many basketballs can fit into a regulation goal at one time? He says 3. Correct answer is 2. Correct answer is 2. So who wants? High school loses a point. You want to shoot? Get you either from the 2-point or the 3-point. Yeah, shoot whenever you're ready. Stop it. Points. 2 points. All right, good job. Have a seat. Last question. Last question. When a player picks up a dribble and begins to dribble again, what is the violation called? What's it called? He says double dribble. Correct answer is double dribble. All right, somebody who hasn't shot. Somebody who hasn't shot. Send somebody who hasn't shot. Somebody who hasn't shot. High school. High school. High school. All right, come on. Y'all argued too long. Get out of the way. Sit down.
Free basketball.
Oh, the YouTube, it must be correct. So close. All right. Hey, we're going to tally the points. We'll let you know in a minute. Everybody, you can go back to your seats. Good job. Good game.
Well, it wasn't a question.
See, there's a reason we don't get our education from YouTube.
Then where'd you get that from?
It's not YouTube, it's
Not YouTube.
Where'd you got it from? Wikipedia.
From a game site. It's got to be correct.
Wikipedia.
So is that is that the new thing? If you want to find out information, you just YouTube it. It's not Google anymore. Just YouTube.
How did you get yours?
Just not YouTube. I mean, if I want to maybe learn how to do something, I'll watch a YouTube video. But learning facts is not for me. Do you know that anybody can put up a YouTube video? Anybody? Just throwing that out there. All right, let's worship. Let's stand up. Come on. When all I see is the battle, you see my victory. All I see is a mountain, you see a mountain moved. And as I walk through the shadow, your love surrounds me. There's nothing to fear now, for I am safe with you. So when I fight, I'll fight on my knees with my hands lifted high. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. Every fear I lay at your feet. I'll sing through the night. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. And if you are for me, who can be against me? For Jesus, there's nothing impossible for you. When all I see are the ashes, you see the beauty. When all I see is a cross, God, you see the empty tomb. So when I fight, I'll fight on my knees with my hands lifted high. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. Every fear I lay at your feet. I'll sing through the night. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. Almighty fortress, you go before us. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. You shine in the shadow, you win every battle. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. Almighty fortress, you go before us. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. You shine in the shadow, you win every battle. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. So when I fight, I'll fight on my knees with my hands lifted high. Oh God, the battle belongs to you, and every fear I lay at your feet. I'll sing through the night. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. There is grace when the heart is under fire. Another way when the walls are closing in. And when I look at the space between where I used to be and this reckoning, I know I will never be alone. There was another in the fire, standing next to me. There was another in the waters, holding back the seas. And should I ever need reminding of how I've been set free, there is a cross that bears the burden where another died for me. There is another in the fire. All my dead left for dead beneath the waters. I'm no longer a slave to my sin anymore. And should I fall in the space between what remains of me and this reckoning, either way I won't bow to the things of this world. I know I will never be alone. There was another in the fire, standing next to me. There is another in the waters, holding back the seas. And should I ever need reminding what power set me free, there is a grave that holds nobody, and now the power lives in me. There is another in the fire. Oh, there is another in the fire. Oh, I can see the light in the darkness as the darkness bows to him. I can hear the roar in the heavens as the space between wears thin. I can feel the ground shake beneath us as the prison walls cave in. Nothing stands between us. Nothing stands between us. There is no other name but the name that is Jesus. He who was and still is and will be through it all. So come what may in the space between all the things unseen and his reckoning, I know I will never be alone. I know I will never be alone. There'll be another in the fire, standing next to me. There'll be another in the waters, holding back the seas. And should I ever need reminding how good you've been to me, I'll count the joy come every battle, 'cause I know that's where you'll be. There'll be another in the fire, standing next to me. There'll be another in the waters, holding back the seas. And should I ever need reminding how good you've been to me, I'll count the joy from every battle, 'cause I know that's where you'll be. I'll count the joy from every battle, 'cause I know that's where you'll be. God, we just love you. We thank you so much for loving us. Thank you for allowing us to experience another day that you've created. And I thank you most importantly, God, for just being there with us, God. Being there for us when we are in the dark times and the good times and the bad times, God. I thank you for being there with us when we don't even know that we're in need of you, God. I pray right now that you please help us get rid of distractions. Help us be able to focus on you and just hear from you tonight, God. We love you. Speak through Austin. We ask these things in your son's name. You guys can have a seat.
Oh, there it is. I took the one from back there. Do I have to like talking it like this? Yeah, I'm not doing that. How's everybody doing? Good. That was horrible. All right, I'm Austin. Y'all know me. Let's just get this out of the way. Yes, I got glasses. Everybody laugh. All right, there we go. I got them Tuesday, and they're still like, it's like weird. I like put them on, and I put them on, and I was like, man, these are horrible. I was like, these don't even work. I was like, this is terrible. And then I took them off, and I put them back on. I was like, whoa, wait, actually, those actually work pretty good. My vision before was just terrible. So how's everybody's day going? Everybody doing good? Anybody have any tests? Any tests? No tests? I have an exam tomorrow. I haven't even studied for it. I totally forgot about it until about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Anybody ever have that happen? I have it happen all the time. So, Easter's right around the corner. So this week we're going to be starting, how's it going? Okay, wait, is this, okay. So this week we're going to be starting a new series, Easter, you see on TV. So Jason asked me to preach tonight and open up our series, starting with the power of prayer and how important it is to pray. So tonight we're going to be looking into Mark chapter 14. For those of you who do not know, Easter is right around the corner, April 9th. That's the day right before my birthday. And a few weeks ago, we talked about this thing called Lent. What is Lent? Somebody remind me what Lent is. Giving up something, giving up what? Do what?
Giving up something of yours to replace it with something.
Right. So Lent is this period of time that remembers when Jesus lived in the wilderness and he fasted and was tempted by Satan for 40 days, right? So we remember this time period by giving up something that we use on a daily basis or maybe a routine that we do every day. And when it comes to do this thing again or use whatever we gave up again, it serves as a reminder that Jesus died on a cross for us, and it allows us to kind of remember what Jesus did for us, right? Is anybody still going strong on their Lent choice? Anybody? Yeah? Anybody? Yeah, see, mine was giving up soda. I haven't had one in a couple weeks now, so I'm still going strong. Did anybody else do anything? No? Man, y'all are like dead. It's been a long week already? Yeah. All right, so if you don't have your Bibles out, let's go ahead and open them up. If you have it on your phone, get on your phone because I'm going to have you highlight some things, okay? So open up to Mark chapter 14. We're going to start in verse 32. I'll give you a second to get there. It's like right in the middle. So up to this point in Mark's testimony, see, Mark wasn't an eyewitness to Jesus' ministry. It's said to believe that a lot of the insight that Mark got when he wrote this gospel came from Peter. Everybody know who Peter is? You know who Peter is? So in chapter 14 is toward the end of Mark, and this is right when Jesus is about to get crucified. So verse 32 starts with Jesus in the garden. But what happens prior to Jesus being in the garden is, remember, Judas did what? Betrayed Jesus. Okay. So a few verses before verse 32, Judas decides to betray Jesus, and he meets with the leading priests, and he decides, and he works with the priests, and they're going to start a plan to get Jesus arrested, okay? And then directly after Judas meets with the high priest, that's when the Last Supper happens. Remember the Last Supper? You know, the Last Supper Jesus ate. See, the disciples didn't realize this was the Last Supper that they were having with Jesus. In verse 21, Jesus tells us that Jesus tells his disciples in verse 21 that one of you guys will betray me. And this kind of sends his disciples into a frenzy of, oh, am I the one who betrays you? And Jesus tells them in verse 21, he says, for the Son of Man, that's a title Jesus often used for himself. He says, for the Son of Man must die as the scriptures declared long ago. Okay, so the cat's out of the bag. We know Jesus he's gonna get crucified. But before that is right where we're going to pick up. So Jesus is in the garden. Okay, so Jesus is walking around the garden right after they finish supper. And right before he gets arrested, this is what's happened. Okay, we're in verse 32. It says, they went to a place called Gethsemane. And Jesus said to his disciples, sit here while I pray. He took Peter, James, and John along with him. And he began to be deeply distressed and troubled. My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death, he said to them. Stay here and keep watch. Going a little farther, he fell to the ground and prayed that if all possible, the hour might pass him by. So I read that out of NIV. I know we use a lot of New Living Translation. Before verse 32, what's the little like topic title that's used? What does your version say? What's it say? It'll say, Jesus prays. Okay, so my version right here says, right before 32, it says, Jesus agonizes in the garden. I know you're probably thinking, Austin, why does that matter? Anybody know what the word agonize means? What does agonize mean? So the Oxford Dictionary says the definition of agonize is to undergo great mental anguish through worrying about something. Well, we agonize all the time, right? Throughout life, we agonize all the time, right? So what does this mean? It means Jesus is human, right? Jesus is human just like us. So these verses show that Jesus is human just like you and I, and if the Bible calls us to live lives like Christ, I think it's pretty important to see what Jesus does in the situation. Well, what does Jesus do in the situation? While Jesus displayed his incomprehensible love for us on the cross, he wasn't excited about being executed. Would you? He didn't look forward to the cross. And still, during the most difficult time of Christ's life on earth, he turned to his Father. So this brings me to my first point, that Jesus prayed during his darkest moments. See, Jesus was distressed and troubled and full of sorrow, and he agonized because he knew exactly what was coming his way. This is just like you and us. You know, there are times where we feel this distress, this time where we feel this agony because, you know, maybe there's a test coming up that we didn't study for, like I got tomorrow, or maybe there's a big game coming up and you feel like you haven't practiced enough for it, or maybe it's, you know, a music recital that you have to do and you haven't practiced at all. See, these three scriptures, these three verses right here, 32, 33, and 35, 32, 33, and 34, there we go. I want you guys to highlight those. I want you guys to underline them, color them in, do something, but those three verses right there proves that Jesus is a human and has human emotion just like you and I. It's so powerful. And it's just so mind-blowing that God sent his son who didn't come to be served, but he came to serve, and he's a human, and he's God's son. So what did Jesus do in times of distress? He prayed, you know, just like you and I. If y'all have come to church here for a while, I mean, you probably heard the story about Andrew's accident this summer. So those of you who don't know it, we had a surprise party for Andrew at a swimming pool that he worked at. And Andrew can do some pretty amazing stuff off diving boards. Pretty cool stuff. And he decided that he was going to try to do a double front flip off the high dive at Southland. Anybody been to Southland? He tried to do a double front flip off the high dive. The whole night and the whole summer, he'd been able to do a 1.5. So it's like you do a flip and then dive in the water. And we were standing up on the thing having a good time, and he says, hey, he says, if I try to do a double front flip, will you try to do a gainer? Anybody know what a gainer is? It's like when you like jump out and you try to do a backflip. See, I can do a backflip, but the board was like really, really springy, and I couldn't get enough rotation on it at all. But I told him, I was like, I don't think I could get enough rotation. I was like, but I can try, Andrew goes, well, I'm going to try to do it anyway. So he did it, jumped off there. It was pretty cool. I was like, wow, he just did that. Well, I was like, I'm going to try to keep my word. I'm going to keep my word on this deal, try to keep my promise. So I jump off, can't get rotated, and then I just kind of jump back in the water. And I swim over, and Andrew's not laying, but like sitting on the side of the pool, just not talking. I was like, hey, man, you good? He's like, not saying anything. I was like, you good? He's still not saying anything. So I was like, it's whatever. When Andrew gets hurt, he doesn't talk. That's his way of showing us that he's hurt. I didn't think anything of it. 15 minutes get past, and Andrew hasn't moved from the same spot. That's weird. So I swim over there. Are you good? His face under his eyeballs is just like black. I mean, both eyes. So like, hey, you probably need to get out of the pool, get looked at. So he swims over to the edge, gets out, climbs up a ladder, walks around the swimming pool and goes right into the medical like little corner and goes unresponsive. You know what that means? It means he's not talking. Can't talk to us. That's weird. Ambulance calls. We cut the ambulance. Ambulance is coming. They say, well, if he's unresponsive, we got to call helicopter. Send him to Vandy. Well, they called in the helicopter, and he became responsive again, so they canceled the helicopter, and they sent him to the med center, and he went unresponsive again. So they're like, all right, this time we got to send the helicopter. So the only good thing that came out of the situation is Andrew says that he's got a free helicopter ride out of it that he doesn't remember. But he went to Vandy, and a lot of doctors and a lot of our family members that are doctors, one of them's a chiropractor, and he said that the signs that Andrew showed, Andrew shouldn't be sitting right here in between Matthew and Mason, which is pretty wild. So nobody can ever tell me that prayer doesn't work. Nobody, okay? Because that's all we did for him, okay? See, the world we live in can be very, very hard at times, very hard. So during these times is when we should lean on God and put it in God's hands. You hear it all the time. Because Jesus did it. Jesus put the entire situation in God's hands. See, putting things in God's hands can be very hard. It can be really hard. Whether we're going through the tragedy of the Kentucky Wildcats losing to some Peacocks team, or maybe getting a whopping goose egg on an exam that you may or may not have studied for, or maybe something more serious like a family member being sick, or maybe even losing somebody that's dear to us. See, life throws us curveballs all the time, and it's important to always pray during these times. Even if you don't know what to pray about, pray for clarity so you can know what to pray about, or maybe pray to God, thank God for, just never leaving your side, because he never will. So at this point in the story, Jesus is in distress and agony, and what does he do, right? He prays, okay? All right, so let's keep reading. So the very next verse of Mark, so verse 36 right here. Verse 36, it reads, this is Jesus praying to God, okay? It says, Abba, Father, he said, everything is possible for you. Take this cup from me, yet not what I will, but what you will. Okay, so what does Abba mean? Anybody know what Abba means? What does Abba mean? What is it? Father, yeah. So Abba means father. It's an Aramaic term meaning father, okay? So this brings me to my second point, that Jesus submitted his life to God through prayer, okay? So at this point in the story, more than once now, Jesus has asked God to provide an alternative to the cross. When Jesus says in verse 36, he says, remove this cup from me. He says, these prays that Jesus prayed to God, they weren't calm and controlled prayers. They weren't bow your head, close your eyes, and put your head on your pillow kind of thing. These were loud cries filled with tears. In Hebrews chapter 5, verse 7, it reads, while Jesus was here on earth, he offered prayers and pleadings with a loud cry and tears to the one who could rescue him from death. And God heard his prayers because of his deep reverence for God. See, Jesus was so overwhelmed and filled with agony, there's that word again, about the looming cross that his sweat became blood. He was that worried. In Luke chapter 22, verse 44, he says, he prayed more fervently, and he was in such agony, a spirit, there's that word again, that his sweat fell to the ground like great drops of blood. But through his prayers and his conversations with God, Jesus surrendered to the Father's will in obedience. Anybody ever get butterflies in their stomach before they play something like a game or maybe take a test or maybe a musical or something? Everybody get butterflies? I got them all the time when I played baseball, all the time. It didn't matter if we were playing, the worst team or if we were playing the best team. I always had butterflies. See, during these times, I always made sure I prayed. I always prayed right before a game. And it wasn't just a prayer of, God, please keep me safe. It was a prayer of, thank you for letting me do this. And whether I was in the car or whether I was in the dugout or whether I was out in the field, prayer was a way I could get rid of these feelings, these butterflies in my stomach. And it allowed me to calm down and realize that whatever happens is going to happen because God wants it to happen. Whether we win, whether we lose, whether I get hurt, whether I play horrible, whether I hit a home run, whether I do anything, whatever is going to happen because God wants it to happen. See, prayer was a way, and it still is for me to this day, that it's like gives me kind of a sense of protection. It gives me like a sense of like, I have God, and I know it sounds so cringy and cliche, but I have God. I'm literally okay for everything. Okay, and this leads me to my third point that prayer does in fact protect us. Okay, so let's continue reading. We're picking up in verse 37. Okay, verse 37. Okay, it says, then he returned to his disciples and found them sleeping. Simon, he said to Peter, are you asleep? Couldn't you keep watch for 1 hour? Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So what happened? So Jesus goes off and prays, right? And he gets done praying. And what happened? He walks back and finds what? His buddies are asleep. The people that were supposed to be watching his back are asleep. So when Jesus found his best friends asleep, instead of praying, he reminded them of the importance of prayer. We see here that prayer isn't simply a good thing to do, but it's a means of keeping us inside of God's will. When our humanity gets in the way of following Christ, and what I mean by humanity, I mean like, temptations, weariness, fear, being scared, being jealous. When these things get in between us and our love for the Lord, prayer protects us and keeps us from allowing those things to get into the middle of us. It's kind of like when you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, and let me rephrase that. When you're doing something you shouldn't be doing in front of an adult, and they kind of give you that look of like, you better stop or you're going to get it. You know what I mean? See, Andrew and I were great kids, but but when we got that look, it was accompanied by a snap. It was a stop that. You know what I mean? But I remember this one time where I may have pushed the line a little too far. We were at Sonic with a bunch of buddies, and I was a kid. And when I was growing up, the word stupid was not allowed in our house. If you said stupid, you were gonna get it. Okay? So we're at Sonic and having a good old time, and I felt very comfortable, and I popped off the word stupid to a friend. And have y'all ever tasted soap? Anybody ever tasted soap? Whatever it smells like, all the cherries and everything, it doesn't taste like cherries, okay? It tastes horrible, okay? So guess what I got for saying stupid? Soap. Guess who never said stupid again until right now? Stupid. Right here. The meat. Okay? See, Jesus uses the word temptation in verse 38 as a word to show things that are temptation. So like, I was tempted into saying the word stupid because I thought I could get away with it. I didn't, because moms hear everything. But prayer is a way to block out all of that. You know, prayer is a way to protect us from doing the things that we're not supposed to be doing. So when you guys leave here, remember when we talked about Lent? You remember when we talked about Lent? Whenever we talked about Lent, you were challenged to give up something or change your routine. You know, in our small group, we talked about, maybe it's getting up a little 15 minutes earlier, or maybe it's not hitting snooze 5 times on your alarm and using that time to pray and read your Bible. See, these are things that you can give up in Lent because you're giving up extra sleep, right? And if you haven't chosen something for Lent, or if you haven't picked something out, I challenge you to do it tonight, because once you hit that crossroads of, okay, am I going to do this or am I going to not do this? It's a reminder that Christ loved you. And in the entire story that we just went to, Christ sweated blood for you. Okay? So this Lent is a season to remind us what Christ did for us and the ultimate sacrifice that Jesus made. And remembering these things, and when you come to that crossroads, it allows you to pray and thank God for what we did, just as Jesus did. Okay? Let's pray, guys. God, we love you. We praise you. We thank you for this night. We thank you for this time to gather. God, I pray over every single one of these students. God, I pray that your will be done in them. And I pray, God, that they accept it with open arms, God, because what you have planned for them is so much better than what they think they have planned for them. God, I pray that you open the hearts of those who maybe don't know you, God, and I pray that you can stick your foot in the door and just slide on in there and change them, God. And God, I pray that once you've changed them, and these students that are changed, I pray that they want to seek you, and I pray that they want to pray to you, and I pray that they want to get to know you, Lord, because you know them so well. We love you, and we don't tell you that enough. When we ask these things in your son's name, amen. Go to small group.